Hey guys, KH Cloud here, in a bit of an unusual spot. So I recorded a video about day zero-ish breakdowns of what was going on at E3 this year. Which would be Saturday, Sunday, the press conference, all that kind of stuff. It kind of broke, for some reason, so I gotta reshoot it, so this is the reshoot. So let's start with EA. EA's press conference is on Saturday, and their press conference was largely about sports games, which was fine. That's mostly what the case with EA is. And they covered, three things I found really interesting. They had Long Shot for Madden, which is going to be a new story mode, kind of similar to the Journey in FIFA 17. I'm looking forward to that. They showcased NBA Live 18, so I'm glad that they're getting back into the NBA game stuff because, it's been 2K for a while, and I don't like monopolies. And I know Madden has a monopoly in their area, and FIFA's kind of similar, but not quite. It's just Konami hasn't made a good game in a while. I mean, they used to be really close, and now it's been FIFA for a while. But yeah, having those story bits is really cool. I'm interested to see that they're continuing the journey. I never got to play it because I unfortunately haven't been able to get FIFA 17 yet. I still plan on getting it at some point in time and going and playing through the journey myself. So I'm kind of cool to see that they're extending the storyline with FIFA 18. They also covered a little bit of Battlefield 1. They have a new expansion that's featuring the Eastern Front and night battles. That looks really cool. They showed off Need for Speed Payback. That definitely looks like a car lover's game. You can kind of build, classic cars into supercars. That sounds really awesome. They also showed off A Way Out, which looks really, really cool, and I hope to see that on the Switch because it seems like the perfect spot for that game. I don't know what EA's support is for the Switch, but really, I mean, that's just they want you to play on the couch co-op. The Switch is like automatic on the couch co-op. It's a perfect place for it. Basically, it's a co-op prison escape game. I hope it's only about an hour or two because it's gonna be hard to get your friends to sit down for any longer than that to play through the story. To be honest, what else? Oh yeah, so Battlefront 2, they showed off a little bit of the multiplayer gameplay. I kind of skimmed through it. It looks pretty good from what I saw. And they also talked about the story. That also looked pretty cool. So, Square Enix showed off a Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer. That looks really interesting. The graphics look good, but I would say that it looks a bit too plasticky. I prefer the more 2D style Kingdom Hearts 2. And also, the finishers didn't seem to have that much impact to me, which is a bit concerning. As well as the fact that all we saw was Olympus Coliseum, which tells me that this is going to become an episodic game. So, look forward to Kingdom Hearts 3.1 coming out in early 2018. On to the Microsoft press conference, which was the first press conference on Sunday. So, they announced the new Xbox One X. They showed off their console design, which is sleek but boring, in my opinion. I much prefer the design of the PS4 because the PS4 is sleek but also has something unique. You can see the PS4 from a mile away and you know exactly what it is. That's not the case with this Xbox One X. Also, the name is stupid. It just is. Like, there's no escaping that. The price is also stupid at $500 because I don't buy for a second. There's Tessa, by the way. You can see a little cute little puppy. I don't buy for a second that they can do 4K natively. Don't buy it at all. Not at 60 frames a second. So, I mean, I don't even think an AMD concept PC could do that for $500, and there's no way Microsoft's doing it with their console for $500. Sorry, that's just what I see. It also seems like it's a bit more of a tech toy than it is a consumer product. I'm worried personally that Sony and Microsoft are going to smother the console industry to death. I feel like they should be chasing the Switch, even though the Switch is not like the most successful unit-wise currently. The idea has stuck into the public's mind, and I think that's the future. The idea of you having a portable thing, usually the smartphone, like the one I'm holding right now, that you plug into something that, provides more power and gives you a console-like experience at home and on the go. That is definitely the future, and so I think that Microsoft and Sony should be looking more towards that than looking towards the past. I think the Xbox One X is looking towards the past. They showed off 42 games, but none of them really sold me on the Xbox One X because a lot of the ones that I'm really interested in, like Forza, like Assassin's Creed Origins, like the Darwin Project, Sea of Thieves, Cuphead, I think even Ashen, all of that stuff. Let's see, what else? Shadow of War I was really interested in. Ori. I don't know about Ori, actually. Ori might be only on the Xbox One. Anthem. All of that stuff. Deep Rock Galactic, another one. All of those things are also coming to PC or PS4. It's really, like, that's the biggest problem Microsoft has had for the longest time, and it's not going away. And to be honest, I think it's going to eventually kill Microsoft because they don't have, not Microsoft, but the Xbox program, because they don't really have those first-party exclusive titles. And they have a lot of the PC stuff as well. And if you have both of those things, then, you know, I think they really are going to end up focusing on one. So I think you're going to see them become more of an Xbox on PC company rather than Xbox and PC. It's just my personal opinion, but I think that's the best way for them to go. Assassin's Creed Origins looked pretty cool. I'm sure Ubisoft's going to cover more on their press conference coming up soon. The snake thing, the mythology thing is really interesting. They haven't really covered that much mythology in the past. It's mostly been like, oh, there's been people in the past, but not like an actual, like, you know, snake mythological creatures. So that would look really interesting to me. The gameplay is not as big of a departure as I wanted to see, but they added enough to keep me intrigued. Yeah, Sea of Thieves I'm also really looking forward to, obviously. Yeah, that was most of... I mean, I'm going to go more in depth in the Microsoft press conference later, but that's just a quick overview of kind of what was going on. Last night, actually. The last night, check that out. It looks really beautiful, especially if you love pixel art. On to the disaster, the Bethesda press conference. Not really a disaster, but the Bethesda press conference was the perfect example as to why not everyone needs a press conference. In my opinion, I'm not quite sure Ubisoft, EA, and Activision do, but at least they make the most sense being large publishers, as big as they are. I know Bethesda wants to get there, but they're not there right now. And that kind of showed. Most of what they showed off was Fallout 4 and Skyrim, and they showed off a Dishonored expansion, Wolfenstein 2, and The Evil Within 2. That's all they had for new stuff, and that's because they're not that big of a studio, and I don't necessarily think that they should be pushing to be a big studio and pushing to have all these press conferences each year, because I much prefer that they just focus on making those quality games and not having to deliver something big every year around E3 so that they can kind of, you know, focus their press conference on that. You could really tell that they were stalling for time. They didn't really have anything aside from Fallout 4 and Skyrim. And it was just, it made the whole press conference boring, especially because of the fact that, I mean, on the East Coast, it was going up at midnight. That's really late. People are about to fall asleep, you know? And you're making it worse. And that said, though, Wolfenstein 2 and The Evil Within 2 looked really interesting. The Dishonored expansion looked really interesting. It's just, they don't need to have a presser. Not everyone needs to have a press conference. It would have been fine to just have those trailers released on their own. To be honest, you should just watch those trailers on your own instead of watching the conference, in my opinion. The Bethesda Land stuff was cute, though. But other than that, yeah. So anywho, guys, that's it for this kind of, you know, E3 Day 0-ish brief. I will see you guys all tomorrow with the Day 1-ish brief. Well, Day 1, actually, brief. Even though it's technically not, whatever. Peace.